Hello, folks. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and I have another great show planned for us. While we wait for people to gather in the chat, let me go off and show off some artwork from my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs, okay? We're going to be looking at Are Humans from Another Planet, folks. Well, that's what we're doing. We're going to be looking at Are Humans... Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, folks. We're going to be talking about, did humans actually come from another planet? But just so give me a moment here while I get my artwork up for you. Just give me a moment. Let's see. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me get this done. Let me get my artwork up, and then we'll do it. Sorry about taking so long, having such a late stream tonight. I was busy and stuff. Like that. Just give me a moment here, and I'll do that. Just a moment. Let me get this here. All right. Remember, folks, if you want to watch this live stream after it's done, because YouTube buries my videos, go to my Twitter page at 77megachris1. It'll be the first pinned tweet, okay? So remember that. Also remember, please go and share this video. Share it out on, Twitter, and share it out on Facebook. Share it, hit that like button as well, because it helps me fight the algorithm. The more people that see my videos means the sooner it'll be up on Indiegogo. So remember that as well. Right, get this here, almost ready. Just a moment, folks. Yeah, also please go, hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all feature notifications and stuff. And here, let me get my share screen up. Here is my Extreme 90s cover. This is for my graphic novel Scumdogs, which I work on every day. And when my graphic novel is done, it'll be up on Indiegogo. Remember, folks, also, please go and remember my graphic novel and go back it. The name of my graphic novel is Scumdogs. It's a parody comic book. I parody cartoons from we all know and love when we were growing up as kids. Cartoons that will take you back to a time of comic books and all the great stuff we did when we were kids. Now, Scumdogs, as I said, they're super villains. The name of the actual characters in my book, what the characters actually are super villains out to take over the universe. See, they used to compete in sporting events known as the Scumdog Sports. Sporting events held with superhuman monsters as the pro athletes. See, they're called scum and dogs because they traded in their humanity to become superhumanly powerful monsters. To gain superpowers and stuff, they had to transform themselves into monsters. They're led by their leader, and you can see my main characters on this cover, by Deathmug, the purple guy with the male mask. He's based on various villains from 80s cartoons. Like Skeletor from He-Man, he's he's an arrogant dictator who wants to rule the world, and as I said, he's based on various villains from 80s cartoons. Like Skeletor from He-Man, he's got a skull face. Like the leaders of Cobra from G.I. Joe, the Cobra and stuff like that. Like Cobra Commander, like the leaders of Cobra from G.I. Joe. Like Cobra Commander, he's got a metal mask and stuff like that. Like Serpentor's got gold on him, and he's purple, like the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As I said, he's the villain of the show, and he's going to be fun when you read about him. He's fun, and on this cover, you see him fighting his arch enemy Buick Starpoon. Is basically him and the rest of his team are. If you notice his uniform he's wearing, the white uniform and stuff, it's anyone on this cover with a similar uniform to Buick Starpoon, the guy with the pink pompadour hair, is part of his team in the Space Forces. He's basically a parody on the macho military guys like G.I. Joe. He's an arrogant commander in the Space Forces. He's a captain. who never admits he's wrong and keeps doing something that, well, he knows is wrong, but is too arrogant to basically back down, basically will end up destroying everything around him. He's that kind of moron. Now, but he's also based on space opera kind of hero characters as well. Characters from space operas, like Zap Brannigan, Captain Kirk from Star Trek, James T. Kirk, Captain Kirk, Buzz Lightyear or Buck Rogers, those kinds of characters. He's also based on them. Now, the other members of Buick Starpoon's team in the Space Forces you can see on this cover. Over here we have this guy with the mohawk. Because they're all G.I. Joe parodies and stuff like that, which means they all have a military specialty, something in the military that makes them unique and part of the Space Forces. When they were gathered up by the Space Forces to basically be used against the scum dogs. Roadhog here, the guy with the mohawk, his military specialty is that he's an army guy. He used to be part of the army. Then you have this bald guy with a gun over here, this bald guy in the blue uniform over here. His name is Beach Pounder. His military specialty is that he's a Marine, just another Marine. Then you have this guy back here in the red uniform driving that heavy vehicle. His name is Blast Tank. His military specialty is that he's a heavy vehicle specialist, a tanker. Looks pretty good, huh? This cover is one of 3 different variant covers you'll be able to back when my Indiegogo goes live, so you have that to look forward to too. Here we have Girl Friday. Girl Friday is another member of the Wild Rangers. That's the name of Buick Starpoon's team in the Space Forces. She was assigned to work under Buick Starpoon because while the Wild Rangers fight the scum dogs and save the universe, they're also complete idiots whose idea of saving something is basically burning it down. Well, then the scum dogs can't take it over, can they? So, to head off criticism, her superiors in the Space Forces assigned Girl Friday as Buick Starpoon's second in command. And she hates him. She hates her job because she feels like her career in the military is over because she's basically a little better than just a sitter now for a bunch of for Buick Starpoon and stuff. It's just going to be fun when you read about her. Over here we have Death Mug's henchmen, because in all 80s cartoons, the main villain of the cartoon would have henchmen, and they'd be total idiots. These are my idiots. The pink guy down here is Sloppy, and the blue guy up here with the top hat is Murdermouth. Yeah, the blue guy with the top hat up here is Murdermouth. There are a couple of morons that can't do anything right, and they're a parody of every henchman from an 80s cartoon. They're just going to be great when you read about them. Here we have Hair Metal Doctor. Hair Metal Doctor is a parody of Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe. Dr. Mindbender was a mad scientist, but my mad scientist has been crossed over with a hair metal musician because I think that's, cool. He thinks of all the machines the scum dogs use. Well, they're supervillains. He thinks of their their machines and stuff. He does it while being who he is. Also, here we have Miss Rusty Mullins, who's another parody. Well, she's a parody of the Baroness from G.I. Joe. But unlike the Baroness, she only became a villain to have fun. She's only joined up with the scumdogs to be evil and to have fun. She's only doing this to have a fun time. Well, she's only doing this to have fun. Now, people have said I should make Miss Rusty Mullins' breasts larger every time I reach a stretch goal in my campaign, and I might do that just for fun. But you should also know I will also include the Hair Metal Doctor pinup and the Miss Rusty Mullins pinup up in my graphic novel when you back in an Indiegogo. All right? But I will also get these pinups out to you on T-shirts from Crypto Fashion as soon as I'm able to make them. So remember that. Now, let's move out of this. As I said, we're going to be looking at our humans, aliens tonight. Did we actually come from outer space? But before we do that, let's go and look at Indiegogo real quick. U.S. Assassin Book 3 Graveyard Shift has made $16,730 with 25 days left. All right, let's refresh this to see if it's moved up any. Black and White Volume 2, Man vs. Machine. The new book is out. Volume 2, Man vs. Machine, has made $27,906 with 30 days left. That looks good. Let's take a look at it. Uh, Artie Bear. Art Artie Bear here. And we're kicking off the much anticipated final to the origin of the black and white. It feels great to be bringing this final volume to you. Once again, the sources of this book rest entirely upon where it should belong. Characters and adventures that is a comic book genre's legacy. Yeah. People who yeah. Let's see. They're back. It looks good. Let's see. You can back this book. Black and White, Volume 2, $25. Black and White, second printing, $25. Volume 1 and second print for $65. Oh, you can get the first one as well. Black and White exclusive line art variant, $25. Black and White Volume 2, Rogofert. This is the tier is limited to 72 hours only. Receive one copy of Volume 2 exclusive line art variant. Black and White Volume 2, Volume White main and Roku front cover. Volume 1, Volume V2. Receive one of each of the following Black and White Volume 2 main cover, Volume 2 front cover, and the High Octane material will be signed like that. I missed the first book, but it looks like you can still get it. Let's go up here. Volume 1, second print. Receive one of each of the following Black and White Volume 2 main cover, Black and White Volume 1 new cover, High Octane Adventure. Yeah, looks good. Let's go down here. Black and White have, boots on the ground. Again, as they confront their enemy, as he begins his Burn the Mother Down campaign on his New World Order. Okay. We know that, Reed and Whitney have an adversarial relationship, and that Reed is usually left holding the bag when it comes to Whitney's less than stellar decisions, but will her thirst for vengeance destroy everything before it even has a chance? Keeping at Whitney focused may just be the death of Reed. Epic 64-page book looks pretty good, and as I said, you can back it for $25. But I'm probably going to get this printing over here when I can. Let's go look at this trailer. Let's see that again, huh? All right, that looks good, huh? Go back. Yeah. Go back this book, folks. It looks like one hell of a great looking book. That's Black and White Volume 2. It's up on Indiegogo. Go back it, folks. Let's go look at some other stuff. Let's see. We have Wrath of God, which is made, $60,731 with 23 days left. That's good. Ethan Van Sciver's New Star Folio has made 127 with 125 with 8 days left. Graham Nolan's Alien Alamo has made $101,001. That looks also good. This campaign looks good. You can back this campaign for $25 as well. You have a choice of 3 different variant covers. It's 1957. The Russians have just launched a satellite into orbit. The world was changing. The war veteran Travis Houston was struggling to adapt. All Travis wanted when he mustered out of the Marine Corps at the end of the war was some peace and quiet and a safe place to raise his son James, but the horrors he experienced in the Pacific, and the death of his wife have left him empty and distant. The meteor shower changed all that, only it wasn't a meteor shower, it was an invasion. Creatures from another world want ours. Only thing stand between them and us is a man and a boy. The Houstons are vastly outnumbered, but they are Texans, they have each other. So it might just be even. That's Alien Alamo. It looks very good. It looks like one hell of a great looking book. You can back it for $25, but I'm probably going to get where are you? Down here, I think. Alien Alamo and the Chenoo together, because they missed it. I want both books, and I can get them for $50, and that looks good as well. That's Alien Alamo. It's up on Indiegogo. So that's good. Let's go over here. We're 15 minutes in. I think now I'll start this. Now remember, are humans from outer space? Did we actually immigrate here from another planet? I mean, a lot of our DNA is the same thing as what is on Earth, but that's the thing. Did aliens actually start life on Earth? Maybe the Bigfoot are because you understand humans are vastly different from all the other life forms on Earth. We're more intelligent. We don't have fur or anything like that. And that was making me think, are Bigfoot actual denizens of Earth? Because they actually evolved here. Now, what I'm thinking here is maybe aliens started life on Earth, some alien race. They used various technologies to create the life on Earth, nanotechnology and the like. And basically, they set up the evolution of what was going to evolve here and stuff like that. But it's not actually evolution because it's basically all staged. They actually planned all this out. Different species they introduced and stuff like that. See, the Bigfoot evolved on the planet, or at least they were created. But that's the thing. I think they did this on multiple different planets because I think there are humans out in outer space. And what happens is another group of humans that came from outer space basically came here and found the Bigfoot. And because you see this in different legends and stuff like that the gods basically made mankind. And some of these legends, they somehow basically, impregnated, and I know this sounds weird, and these subhuman creatures, and basically their offspring were basically used as slaves to basically mine gold. And they tried to make them more human-like so that they could also use them as prostitutes and stuff like that, or just for their own fun. And that created humans. But then there's also other legends of humans coming here as well and basically immigrating. So I think that there's a good chance that a good portion of us might be from outer space. Doesn't matter what color you are. I mean, but there are probably already different colors from outer space, and they immigrated here. That would make some, and why this doesn't come up in the evolutionary record? Well, that's easy. They interbred with the humans that were already here, that were already created by the other aliens. Because the ones who came here, let's say, were already human aliens and stuff like that. It would also explain. See, my idea is here is that there's a technology, maybe a nanotechnology that spread across the universe. And basically, whenever they found a planet that could inhabit life, this nanotechnology would basically be used to basically create human life on it. Why they're able to interbreed with each other? That's easy. The nanotechnology made humans, and humans can naturally interbreed with each other. So that would explain why no one can find any reference to humans basically having alien DNA, because it's all human. Though, if you're wondering why, if they're talking about Eve and stuff like that, that was found over in Africa, the most distant human descendant, that's easy. For the most part, when the humans were making the aliens, it would be a alien human male interbreeding with one of these Bigfoot-like creatures, and the offspring would be human. It would still have the Eve DNA in it. The same could go for humans that came from outer space if they were mostly male and interbreeding like that and stuff. Or maybe there's some traces of the females. Well, I understand there are traces of such as other human evolved races on the Earth in our DNA as well. So there's that to consider. But what do you think? Do you think humans are from outer space? We'll be reading a few articles on it. Let's say this. Where are we really? Here's one. The bizarre theory of how extraterrestrials see planet Earth. Scientists believe that humans are actually aliens, came from distant star system. Scientists believe humans are actually aliens, came from a distant star system. Let's start out with this article. All right. One scientist has come up with a pretty interesting theory explaining why humans are so unique compared to other animals living on Earth. By the way, I'm sorry about this being such a late stream and all that, so I hope you come in. Feel free to leave a few chats. We're talking about, are humans actually aliens who came from another planet? Hit that like button for me. It really helps me fight the algorithm, by the way. The more people that hit that algorithm means my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out all the sooner. As well as, please hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications. And remember, if you want to watch this video again, it'll be the first pinned tweet on my Twitter page at 77megachris1. Remember, my Twitter page at 77megachris1, it'll be the first pinned tweet. And please go share this video out on Twitter and Facebook. One scientist has come with a pretty interesting theory. With humans are so unique compared to other animals living on Earth, Dr. Ellis here believes that humans aren't even native to our planet. He is Ellis Silver here. Dr. Ellis. In fact, he said that humans transported here between 60,000 and 230,000 years ago from another star system, with Alpha Centauri being the most probable location. Yeah, sounds good to me. He said that humans originate from another star system. It explains why we sometimes have problems adapting to our environment, such as not being able to tolerate certain foods, not being able to stand strong rays of sunlight. He also said that the only reason why so many people suffer from back pain is because our bodies were adapted to another planet with much less gravity than Earth. So how did we end up being transported to Earth from another planet far away? Dr. Silver here is a theory that too. One reason for this is that the Earth might be a prison planet, since we seem to be a naturally violent species and we're here until we learn to behave ourselves, he explained. He came up with a fascinating theory one day while he was out for a walk in the bright sunlight, blinded his vision, total whiteout, couldn't see a thing. He said he went on to explain that after he found a spot with shade, his vision returned. At that point, he noticed a bunch of birds flying around. He noticed that the sunlight didn't give them any trouble with their sight. They weren't shielding their eyes with their wings. They weren't doing that. They weren't trying to hide from the light. They weren't in pain as I had been. They weren't blindly crashing into buildings and trees. They weren't diving for shelter. He mentioned that birds have a third eyelid that blocks out a lot of the bright light. And interestingly enough, Neanderthals had a protruding brow ridge that also blocked out a lot of the light. Yeah. A trait that modern humans don't have. Yeah, you gotta understand about that too. Dr. Silver says that the reason we are so sensitive to bright light because we didn't evolve on Earth, and apparently that also explains why so many people have health issues. If you find a single person who's 100% unhealthy, not suffering from some perhaps hidden or unstated condition or disorder, I would be extremely surprised. Have not been able to find anyone. He said that, well, that's definitely one unique theory, to say the least. Yeah, it could be true. That could very well be true. Here's some other articles we have to say. There's one on the theory of the prison planet and stuff like that, extraterrestrial sea planet Earth. Here's also aliens like us, mercurial mystery. It points to humans' odds. Well, very weird origin. Planet Earth is host to a remarkable diverse range of organisms. The variety that exists between different life forms, while they real may at times be superficial, that some scientists argue whether the difference between humans and other mammals are really so great. Here's something saying about this. Let's look at this. Nevertheless, uniqueness of at least a few traits that set humans aside from other organisms cannot be so easily debated, even while certain other species display the use of tools as well as the rudiments of what was once considered cultural concepts exclusive to Earth. Other species on Earth has developed such capabilities to the advanced degree that we have. No other species on Earth has basically done that. Basically, not anywhere near as close to us as no other life form on Earth is as close to us as we. No other life form on Earth is as close to what we can do. No other life form can do what we do. You get it? We make tools. We may do stuff. Other organisms can't really do that. I mean, really, none of them can. None of them can. Even gorillas have been proven not to be able to basically make their own tools. in the wild and stuff. So there's that. And stuff like that. Let's go on to this. Herein lies a great mystery. How is it that humans could have developed so differently and so much from other species, enough so that we eventually emerged as a dominant force on this planet? In 1980, one study carried out at the MRC Laboratory of Molecular Biology in England, in biology, took its analysis of this question to the microscopic level, looking at what clues might be found in human genetic material. Appearing in Nature, paper titled Distinctive Sequence of Human Mitochondrial Ribosomal RNA Genes by I.C. Aperian, S. Anderson, and D.P. Nilik by E.C. Aperian, said humans mitochondria. The guy said he called human mitochondria a radical departure. Human mitochondrial, a radical departure from other organisms. The conclusion was rather novel implications in terms of the mysterious origins of humanity. The nucleotide sequence spanning the ribosomal RNA genes of cloned human mitochondrial DNA reveals an extremely compact genome organization. The study's authors wrote in the paper abstract wherein the primitive tRNA genes are probably but joined around two RNA genes. The sequence of the rRNA genes are significantly homologous in some regions to eukaryotic and prokaryotic sequences. Sorry if I got those wrong. Kind of hard to say. But let's get back to this order. But distinctive, they added, noting that the tRNA genes also have unusual nucleotide sequences. For those among us who aren't molecular biologists, what the study authors present here may seem convoluted. However, the final line of the study's abstract brought in a rather stark focus what the author interpreted this all to mean. It seems that human mitochondria did not originate from a recognizable relative of present-day organisms, they concluded, but if not recognizable ancestors to the kinds of organisms present on Earth today, then what kinds of organisms had they been talking about? Inherent to the structure of all living cells and higher organisms are mitochondria. Those organelles are the areas within cells where functions like respiration and generation of energy takes place. Since mitochondria possesses their own unique genetic materials, scientists have suggested that they might represent the aftermath of an invasion that occurred in the ancient world in which bacteria stormed the cells of ancient organisms and took up residence within them. The question is, what kind of bacteria might have caused the radically different mitochondria found today in modern humans? The study by Aperian al. raises several questions. One has to do with the undeniably unique traits that humans appear to possess when compared to other species on our planet. Might it be the case that mitochondria is actually at the root of these distinctions? Another question has to do with whether mitochondrial changes occurring in ancient organisms might have spearheaded the evolutionary trends that eventually led to ancient hominid ancestors and eventually resulted in, us. Other theories exist as well, which gives consideration to speculative ideas about the appearance of novel kinds of bacteria from unusual places, possibly from space, which might have arrived on Earth after being carried over great distances at cosmic debris. The theories that other novel kinds of bacteria or viruses could have arrived from space, while challenged by most in the scientific community, formed the basis of astronomer Fred Hoyle and his colleague Chandra Rukmanseri's theory of panspermia or cosmic ancestry, which enlists panspermia. Sorry about if I mispronounced her name. Let's get back to this, which enlists that all life on Earth may actually have origins from in outer space. Even if ready-made bacteria had not been brought to Earth on cosmic debris, many astrobiologists have entertained the notion that the building blocks of life might have been brought to Earth from elsewhere long ago, having eventually formed the complex proteins over time and eventually giving rise to simple life forms that evolved over the eons into the biodiversity we see in our planet today. Is it also possible that some of the evolutionary mysteries about human origins could have been influenced by some cosmic source at some point in the distant past? Such questions raise a number of possibilities beyond the likelihood of life existing elsewhere in the cosmos, or whether or or whether or not it might differ entirely from what we have come to expect life on Earth. Expect life on Earth. In fact, Earth organisms actually do have their roots in outer space. Any prospective aliens out there might, well, in fact, if Earth organisms actually do have their roots in outer space, and yeah, Earth organisms probably do have their origins in outer space, aliens out there might not only resemble us, but they might actually be cousins of ours in a sense. In other words, we Earthlings might be, we might be from outer space. Get the idea, huh? Because our DNA. That could also be because of what I've said earlier with my other stuff. Keep that in mind, folks. Let's see. Is Earth a prison planet? Possibly, folks. Possibly. Since the dawn of humankind, we have sought to explain our origins and answers of the fundamental basic question. By the way, basic question. Where do we come from? In every far-flung culture across every corner. Okay. By the way, folks, hit that like button for me. It really helps me fight the algorithm. The more people that hit that like button means my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out all the sooner. And remember, hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications. Also, please remember, if you want to watch this video again, go to my Twitter page at 77megachris1. It will be the first pinned tweet. As well as please go share this video on Twitter and Facebook. Every corner of the globe, as we get back to this article, corner of the globe, one can find origin myths and legends, so each as different as the culture it spawns from. In more recent times, we have science and the theory of evolution, a more scientific effort to explain the same age-old question that has haunted us since the first flickers of self-awareness sparked in our brains. But for some, this has still not been enough. There are some decidedly more fringe ideas still floating around out there. For at least one scientist, the answer to the question is that we did not come from Earth at all, but we were rather dropped off or exiled here long ago. Welcome to the bizarre world of prison planets. The main thrust behind all this, the most bonkers theories on the history of human beings on this planet is American ecologist by the name of Dr. Ellis Silver. His main idea is that our origins on this planet are not what they seem, and that perhaps we are not the product of evolution on this planet, but other visitors that, for whatever reasons, ended up here relatively recently in the geographical timescale, perhaps hundreds of thousands or even recently as tens of thousands of years ago, after which we bred with earlier species such as Neanderthals in order to become the hybrid creatures we are today. It sounds completely outlandish. Not really. Well, the ravings of a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist, but Silver is no usual crackpot. Yeah, but it does sound like it could happen. But rather a respected scientist, he has evidence to try and back up this on the surface crazy notion. Here we have this guy again. Forgetting for the moment of how we might have wound up here in the first place, Silver is more than ready to present his arguments and why, as a species, we just don't seem to belong here. The first and foremost reason for that is that we humans are unlike anything else on this planet in terms of intelligence and mental capacity. There is no other animal that even comes close to our ability to think. Philosophize, huh? Create politics, or maybe we should say philosophy. Create artwork and poetry, artwork and poetry, or an advance in technology so incredibly rapidly. This is the most obvious arguments in his case, but is certainly not the only one. In his opinion, human beings exhibit many characteristics and psychological features that prove we are not, as a climated or suitable for this planet as our originators might have thought. Original, yeah, that sounds good. And indeed, it sees cites a long list of differences between us and pretty much every other life form on this planet, which he says mark us as hilariously ill-equipped to deal with the environment. Yeah, I can understand when God, if God made us, you understand this even goes back there why we don't have claws or anything like that, why we don't have anything that can compete with the animals and stuff like that. Why are we so different, so weak compared to them? Yeah, yeah. Let's go back to this environment and stuff like that. According to Silver, these anomalous differences can be seen as early as the beginning of our lives. Human women have enormous complications and pain during childbirth, which he claims are not seen in anywhere else in the animal kingdom, with births among animals natural and smooth, whereas human beings need much support and can even die in childbirth, sometime thing which still happens occasionally even to this day. Of course, this is due to the largeness of the head in human babies, and but why Silver argues should this be if it is a normal process of evolution after being born after an unusually short gestation period. We then undergo an extremely comparatively long process of slow development with human babies completely and utterly helpless for years after birth, which Silver argues is far from the norm in the animal kingdom. This might be raising from some eyebrows already, but this is only the beginning. Upon eventually maturing, humans display many anomalies, traits not only really shared by other creatures on this planet. Silver says that we are naturally prone to chronic illness and conditions such as hay fever, allergies, and others, which doesn't seem to make sense. He also brings up our unusual weakness to the sun, saying that we are also are one of the only creatures that suffers from sunburn to the extent that we do, despite the fact that we evolved to have no body hair, and that we are additionally one of the only creatures that needs to squint their eyes when the sunlight is bright. The range of frequencies that we can audibly hear is also woefully low compared to other animals, as is our range of smell, which is argued as all being the result of being in a tune on a biological level with another entirely different environment. Human beings also tend to have chronic back problems, which he says is a result of the differing gravity between our home world and Earth. And he continues, and this does sound true, with the notion that our bodies actually seem to be more in tune with a 25-hour day rather than 24, and that many of us have sleeping disorders and general sense of anxiety because of this. Furthermore, we tend to dislike raw and uncooked food as a rule, unlike other animals who have evolved with little body hairs are upright rather than with a lower center of gravity, unlike other animal on the planet. Generally, it is of Silver's opinion that our bodies are just not suitable for this environment. If we have actually evolved here over millions of years, he has said this. Yeah, why is this? If we evolved here, why are we like this? Why are we so different from everything else? Yeah. My thesis proposes that mankind did not evolve from the particular strain of, yeah, that sounds about right. Let's see, said of this, he has said of, my thesis proposed that mankind did not evolve from that particular strain of life, native Earth organisms, but evolved elsewhere and was transported to Earth between 60,000 and 200,000 years ago. Mankind is supposedly the most highly developed species on the planet, yet is surprisingly unsuited and ill-equipped for Earth's environment. Harmed by sunlight, a strong dislike for naturally occurring foods, ridiculously high rates of chronic disease. This suggests to me, at least, that mankind may have evolved on a different planet, and we may have been brought here as a highly developed species. The Earth is approximately meets our needs as a species, but perhaps not as strongly as whoever brought us here initially thought. However, if any of this is at all is really true, then why would we have ended up here in the first place? Well, according to Silver, one possibility is that Earth might be a planet for stowing away prisoners who were unable to integrate into their normal society. Our ancestors might have been exiled here, after which they were forgotten about and interbred native species to form what we are now, albeit with certain quirks indicative of our extraterrestrial origin. After all, humans have had far away penal colonies before, so who's to say that aliens don't as well? Indeed, Silver calls the prison planet theories, and he says of why we are here. One reason for this is discussed in the book is that the Earth might be a prison planet, since we seem to be a naturally violent species. We're here until we learn to behave ourselves. He has also even suggested that at one time that there may very well have been some sort of overseers, and that these became the gods in the minds of our ancestors. Indeed, the UFOs that many people see today could be our real ancestors, keeping an eye on our progress. Other ideas is that an asteroid destroyed our home planet long ago, and we fled here over the centuries, forgetting our true origins, or that we are even refugees from a dying planet, Mars. Also might have been planted here for some sort of long-running experiment, essentially making us intergalactic guinea pigs. One could speculate on and on, whatever the ultimate reason is. The result is that we did not come from here. While there may have certainly been ideas and theories that life on Earth might have actually begun with bacteria or other biological material arriving on a meteor, Silver is one of the first to seriously suggest that we are in fact some came here more or less fully formed. Perhaps some hybridization along the way. Silver has written an entire book on the subject entitled Humans Are Not From Earth. Well, entire book on the subject entitled Humans Are Not From Earth. A scientific evaluation of the evaluation of the evidence. Let me reread that again. Entire book on the subject. Humans are not from entire book subject, huh? Humans are not from Earth, a scientific evaluation of the evidence, and it is controversial to say the least. What are we to think of these ideas that human beings did not originate from what we have long thought to be our native home planet world? Or, of course, there has been a lot of criticism aimed at the theory, and all remains highly speculative, but is nevertheless another intriguing example of our kind of trying to delve into our history and extract some meaning from where we came from and who we are. There's also headed as well. But yeah, I get the idea. Could this all be true, folks? This does sound very interesting. Let's see. It may not be easy for humans to procreate on Mars. There's a big chill that time the entire planet might become a snowball. But what do you think? Alien contact Edward Murray and his controversial UFO photos. Debate was in sense for ancient astronauts. Planets leading secret lives. So now we could basically go to this ancient astronaut theory and so maybe look at a few of those articles. Did humans basically worship them as gods? How do extraterrestrials see our planet Earth? We can take a look at this, get an idea here what we're doing, huh? But what do you think, folks? Think we're from outer space? Huh? Do you think that maybe there was a swarm of nanobots made by an alien species that was probably us, basically sent them out of space and had them terraform entire planets and basically breed human life forms on it? Is Bigfoot possibly actually, Bigfoot, the cryptid, actually just maybe the actual natural life form on this planet? That it was actually just that would eventually have evolved into humans if left alone, but human aliens, whether other humans from another planet came here and basically interbred with the Bigfoot and produced us. Could that be? Could also there be other groups of humans that came from other planets that basically came to Earth as well and then lived here? And then basically you get the idea. The refugees from another planet, then they came here and basically took up residence as well. Let's read more and maybe find out. Huh? Let's get into this. Let's read. A snapshot of a distant exoplanet gives astronomers an idea of what it looks like. A snapshot of a distant exoplanet as it passes in front of his sun and light shines around it gives astronomers an idea of what the planet and its atmosphere are made of. If we assume there's intelligent life on some of these planets, we can also assume that they are looking back at us and trying to figure out the same thing. If we could only look back from deep space at Earth as it passes in front of the sun, we could see the signatures of life that would tell us if an exoplanet is our cosmic twin, identical or fraternal. Last year, astronomers figured out a way to do that without the need of a spaceship looking back. Instead, they looked into a giant mirror during a lunar eclipse. Wait, what? Let's hope this has something to do with ancient human origins and stuff like that. Might have to move on to a different article if it isn't. Let's get back to this. Observations of the Earth shine of the moon allowed one for the unique opportunity to measure the large-scale Earth atmosphere. Another opportunity is realized during a total lunar eclipse, which is, if seen from the moon, is like a truncheon of the Earth if in front of the sun. We thus aim at a transmission spectroscopy of an Earth transient by tracing the solar spectrum during the total lunar eclipse January 2019. As described in a paper published this week in the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics, as summarized in a press release, lead author Klaus Strasmayer from Leibniz Institute for Astrophysics Potsdam, astrophysics figured out that a total lunar eclipse on January 21st, 2019, when the Earth had passed directly between the moon and the sun, was a total solar eclipse to anyone looking at the sun from the protective glasses, of course. From the lunar surface, since we know of, or at least can confidently assume that no one did, that Strasmayer and astronomers using the Large Binocular Telescope in Arizona took advantage of the dim yet reflective surface of the moon and looked into a mirror edge that showed Earth's atmosphere as sunlight passed through it. Around the edge, a filtering light with a appropriate name. Earthshine. Appropriate name, huh? Sounds interesting. The Earth's atmosphere contains many byproducts of the biological activity, such as oxygen and ozone, in association with water vapor, methane, and carbon dioxide. These bionic molecules present attractive neuromolecule bands of optical and near-infrared wavelengths for detection of atmosphere and other planets. Our Earthshine has also showed traces of sodium, calcium, potassium, all elements generated by or needed by human life on the planet. A similar planet shine would thus indicate that on an exoplanet it has or is incapable of hosting similar life forms or even humans once we figure out how to travel that far. I get it. So basically from the atmosphere they can see if it has the certain kind of elements and methanes just from watching the gases and the atmosphere itself. They can tell that it has these kinds of gases in it, and this would be necessary for this planet to have life on it. Not bad. But it doesn't really give us what we were talking about tonight, so maybe I should move on and find a different article. Unless this actually has something to do with that. Yeah, we're talking about, did humans come from outer space? Did humans actually originate and immigrate to Earth from another planet? Let's see. An early alien abduction during the Great UFO Scare of 1896. Yeah, Great UFO Airship, 1896. All right, let's go over here. New survey reveals one dinosaurs still roaming the Earth. A strange new Native American tale of a crashed UFO. Seldom discuss aspect of the alien abduction phenomenon. All right. Let's see. Strange tale of the mysterious lost family of the Taiga. Let's see. Trying to find tiny elephant shrew. Science for 50 years has finally been found. Tiny shrew lost to science 50 years have finally been found. Alien space brothers are manipulative beings from here on Earth. Could be. It'd be. We're talking about. Let's see. Crazy people. Bigfoot, crazy bear, Bigfoot, and accounts of Native American people. Let's see. I'm trying to find an article on this. We're talking about if humans came from outer space. Are they actually from outer space? The last article we said was basically a bunch of time about how alien life forms. We might be able to detect planets that could host life and stuff like that, basically from the fact of the gases we can observe in their atmosphere from basically our telescopes. Could be. It could very well be. I'm trying to find a few more articles on it and stuff like that. Trying to talk about this. about ancient astronauts. Maybe I should just go for ancient astronauts. In fact, maybe I should go over here. Yeah, ancient aliens. Let me go back over here. Let me get this up here. Ancient astronauts. I guess maybe that's wrong. Astronauts. Let me try this. Astro. Yeah, I got that. Did I not get that right? Astro. S. Oh, wait a minute. A, right? What? That's not right either. Astronauts. Oh, I had it right the first time. Well, let me see. Does that still do that? Guess not. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at some ancient astronauts and get an idea of that. Saigon Pilled City debate raising sensitive search for ancient astronauts in government file, ancient astronauts at the movies, our ancient mushroom god, Stone Age pain, recall ancient psychedelic journey. I guess maybe I should just look at this one first. Let's get back to what we were doing. Feel free to leave me a few chats, folks, because I want to hear about your ideas on this. Did humans come from outer space and stuff like that? Were we actually transplanted from another planet? Let's look at this article here. Let me do this first. I guess that is right. All right. Earth. Has Earth ever been visited by spacefaring extraterrestrials? Many would contend that this much seems evident from the modern enigma of unidentified aerial phenomenon, commonly known as UAVs. Despite the popularity of this idea, it is merely one of the many interpretations of what the origins of UFOs might be, as far as the lingering questions of whether Earth has been reached by visitors from space and other approaches opted to look much back further into the history for evidence of such visitation by searching for ancient astronauts who might have arrived here and met with earlier cultures sometime within the last several thousand years. Well, last several thousands of years. Here's this. Yeah, look at that. Could these actually be astronauts? Could these be aliens? Huh? I mean, look at this. They look like astronauts. They also appear to have some sort of stuff in them they're holding. Idea has been popularized in recent years by shows like History Ancient Aliens, which, if anything, presents a heavily sensationalized take on the concept. Despite this, the idea of paleo contact has actually seen quite a number of respectable proponents over the years, rather than being exclusive to people who have achieved fame by expressing wild theories on popular television shows. I recall a radio interview I participated in several years ago, during which an astronomer joined us by phone was asked whether he put on any stock in UFO science. While he said he did not, he offered that he thought extraterrestrial visitation to Earth certainly might have occurred at some point in our planet's ancient past, and the view of this seemed much more likely than modern visitations on account of the billions of years in Earth's past during which aliens might have had time to reach us. Such extraterrestrials could have also arrived on Earth long before any intelligent life had been even evolved here, and hence why we would not ever know they had ever been here in the first place. Yeah, could be, couldn't it, folks? Could very well be. Yeah. All right. Essentially, what our astronomer friend here has been, well, friend had saying is that we can't rule out the idea that extraterrestrials might have existed long ago who possessed technological capabilities that allowed them to travel great distances in space. It seems unlikely that they would have altered the environment during the visit in ways significant enough to be detected by modern scientists either. Thus, these hypothetical ancient aliens might have arrived and left again eons before humans ever appeared, making their encounters with extinct forms of Earth life far more likely than them having contact with our early ancestors, as most modern ancient alien theorists would have contend. That's not literally what we're talking about here. But does raise the fact that aliens could have visited Earth, and as I said, maybe human aliens visited Earth, maybe something that came from aliens, like a nanowave and stuff like that, basically reached Earth and created the life that we know here, or at least create life that would basically evolve into, or basically created the life here and stuff like that. And other aliens came here and basically altered it even more and made us. That could very well be as well, folks. Not too bad, but you get the idea that aliens could have visited long ago in the past. Maybe they didn't meet us, but maybe they left something here that would eventually become us, or maybe that they did create something like that. But other alien species, other human aliens, I should say, came here because there are legends of human-like creatures, the gods coming here and basically interbreeding with humans. That could very well be as well. Okay, I didn't really read that much into the article, but you get an idea that at some point aliens in the ancient past could have visited Earth. Not too bad. I don't really feel like reading the rest of that article because it doesn't feel like it's really getting to what I was basically talking about tonight. But you get an idea. We had some fun talking about what we did tonight, and basically get an idea that maybe humans are from outer space, that we came from another planet. Could very well be. I think I'm going to end my live stream, folks, right about now, or maybe I should go international in a government file. Maybe I should look at this. Do agencies government take on millennia-old mysteries, tales of ancient astronauts, and archaeological anomalies? Well, yes. Well, Albert to a degree. CIA, for example, Albert to a degree, for example, has taken an interest in the tales of Noah's Ark, or as the agency refers to it, the ancient anomaly. The anomaly. The late Miles Copeland, who held a significant position in the Central Intelligence Agency, told an intriguing story concerning the CIA and the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then there's the matter of the man named, Van Tassel. George, here, Van Tassel. George Tassel, yeah. In the early 50s, Van Tassel claimed, George Van Tassel claimed with the interaction with extraterrestrials out in the desert near Joshua Tree, California. Van Tassel's visitors from the stars, who were said to have been extremely human-like and be highly demanding when it came to getting across their space laws and regulations. At the time of the encounters, Van Tassel was living in the desert region of a small town called Landers, actually in a large converted cave beneath a gigantic rock that, unsurprisingly, is called Giant Rock. Van Tassel claimed that aliens told him that the human race had been molded, guided, and manipulated for thousands of years by extraterrestrials posed as gods. Such was the fascination that the public had with his claims. Van Tassel was prompted to establish a yearly UFO conference at Giant Rock that, at its height in the mid-1950s, attracted audiences in excess of 10,000. The word was spreading and even reached the FBI, who opened a file on Van Tassel in 1954. Okay, documentation classified by the FBI demonstrates that George Van Tassel was periodically monitored well into 1960s as were Van Tassel's statements concerning ancient aliens in the saga. Yeah, they think these aliens he could have been in contact with could have been Russians. They could also have been aliens. Statements concerning ancient aliens in the saga of the Ten Commandments. Ancient alien. Statements stuff like that and the Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments. Or Ten Commandments. An FBI report on a lecture Van Tassel gave at the Phibbs Auditorium in Denver, Colorado in 1960 states the following. The major part of the lecture was devoted to explain the occurrence in the Bible as they related to space people. He said that the only mention of God in the Bible in the beginning when the universe was being made, he said that after that all reference to out of the sky or out of heaven. All right. The FBI, well, the FBI agent, let me do that. The FBI president at the gig also reported, he said that this is due to the fact that the manned space people was made by God, and that in the beginning of the world, the space people came to the Earth and left animals here. These were not the prehistoric animals, but existed at a body temperature of 105 degrees. However, a polar tilt occurred whereupon the poles shifted and the tropical climates became covered with ice, and vice versa. After the pole tilt, the temperature to sustain life was nearly 100 degrees. Well, as you can see, it was over 90 and stuff like that. 98 degrees and stuff like that, which was suitable for space people. So they established a colony and left only males here, intending to bring females at a later date on supply ships. This is reflecting Adam not having a wife. He said that Adam was not an individual race of, is a race of men. And there was more. Van Tassel said that this race then intermarried with intelligent, upright walking animals, which race was Eve. Then when the space people came back in the supply ships, they saw what had happened and did not land, but ever since, due to the origin of Adam, watched over the people on Earth. He said that this is, the Bible many times, he said that this is, in Bible many times, such as Moses receiving the 10 Commandments. He said that 10 Commandments are the laws of the space people, and men on Earth only gave them lip service. Also, the manna from heaven was bread supplied by the space people. Also, continuing the FBI files in the following, which covers that the same 1960 lecture Denver. Also, the guy, just a moment, folks. In Denver, the guy also stated that this can be seen from that native stories, such as the Indians, America, saying that corn and potatoes known in Europe were brought here by a flaming canoe. He said that this can be shown also by the old stories of winged chariots, winged white horses, which came out from out of the sky. He also said that Jesus was of Mary, who was a space person sent here already pregnant in order to show the Earth people the proper way to live. He said the space people have watched over us through the years and have tried to help us. He said that they have sent their agents to Earth and that they appear just as we do. However, they have the power to know your thoughts just as Jesus did. He said that this is where the means of communication and many of the space people are mute. But they train a certain number of them to speak Earth languages. Those reading the article and hoping to learn that the FBI has an office devoted to the secrets of ancient astronauts will be deeply disappointed. No such office exists, and when no such office has ever existed, certainly the FBI listened to what Van Tassel has said about alleged aliens goings on into Earth in the distant past, but they were not at all impressed what they saw or heard on April 12, 1965. FBI document refers to Van Tassel as an eccentric, self-ordained minister of a quasi-religious organization. A further FBI document refers to Van Tassel as a, quote, don't really say don't say much for him, do they? But you get the idea of what we read tonight. Are humans from outer space? Did we have that? What could it actually be, huh, folks? Please go and remember, subscribe to my, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you, okay? That there's misspelled in the title. Yeah, it's THERE. Make sure you're still subscribed to my channel, as well as please go and hit that bell. Hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications of hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos. Remember, if you want to watch this video again, go to my Twitter page at 77megachris1 on Twitter. It's the first pinned tweet. As well as please go and leave some comments down below. Also, hit that. Also, please go and share this video out on Twitter and Facebook. Okay, got that? Anything anything else. Also, please go over and subscribe to Stitched Together Picks. Stitched Together Picks is a YouTube channel hosted by the Maniacal Cinephile. You're going to love his reviews of movies. They are great. He plays this character called the Maniacal Cinephile, and you're not just getting one thing, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff when you watch his reviews of movies. They are great. Go and subscribe to Stitched Together Picks. Also, please go over and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Creepy Little Book is like the Art Bell radio show. He does little videos talking about high strangeness, but he also does live streams every night. On weekdays, he live streams at 12:30 a.m., and on weekends, he live streams at 10 o'clock p.m. He talks about aliens and ghosts and learns so much from watching him. Also, please remember, I'll be back again tomorrow with another live stream at 5 or 6 or 11 o'clock p.m. So please come back and watch. As well as I'm Chris what else? What else can I say? What else is there to say? We had a good live stream tonight. So I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs. Let's try that again. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Please. I screwed up again. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining.